Hey up, me ducks. It's Simon here. Excuse me. How is everybody doing? I'm just going to pop the chat open on the laptop so I can see everybody. It's another hot one in the UK. We are on, I think, day 6 now of a heat wave. So, but it's lovely. I'm enjoying going out in t-shirt weather and just nice early morning walks where it's still cool before it gets really, really hot. So we have got rain forecast for tomorrow, so maybe it's coming to a dramatic end, but it's lovely at the moment. Anyway, I'm just going to go through and say hello to everybody. So Radha was here first. Nice to see you and welcome. And then we've got our Kim. Hello, Kim. And Caroline. And Ramon. Hi, Ramon. Redwing. Hi, Redwing. And Sandra. Hi, Sandra. We have Frank and Celia. Blessed Summer Solstice. Yes, I've got my Letha card to share. It's in the week, isn't it? Wednesday. Yeah. We've got Jennifer. And we have Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Maharet. Hello, nice to see you. We've got Tammy and the lovely Patrice. We've got Feeding My Soul and Kelly. Marita. I've learned how to say that now. I've been saying Maruta. And we've got somebody in Facebook as well saying, "Hey up, me old duck." Old duck. I think I know who that is. And we have Star and Flurry. Lily Rose, hello. Patsy, hi Patsy, how are you? And the lovely Anne is here. Hi Anne. Robin, hello Robin. And Brian, hi Brian. Have I missed Shien? Nice to see you, Shien. MA, hello MA. And Dog, hello Dog. Jonathan's here. Hello Jonathan. Aloha to you. And we have Jackie. Hi Jackie. We've got Lynn and Son of Son. Not seen you for a while. I hope you're okay. And the lovely Elaine's here. Hello. It's been a damp day here today. Wow. So it's damp in Ireland, but hello and welcome. And we have Alinza. Is that how you say your name? Alinza? Sorry if I've completely butchered your name. We have Spiritual Me. And Malamir is here. Nice to see you, Malamir. So we've got a lovely mix today of old and new friends. And by old, I don't mean in the actual sense. Oh, it could be Adam because it's the Welsh flag. I thought it was Tony, but it could be my friend Adam from Wales. So that'll probably be more likely why he's calling me old. But anyway, how is everybody doing? Is everybody having a good week? Obviously, this is the first live. Actually, this is the first live for a month because, first live Cuppa catch-up on my own for a month because last week I was joined by Diane for a catching up with. The week before, I'd got a friend staying for the weekend, so I didn't go live. The week before that, I had Tammy Pie for a catching up with. And so it was a week before that. So it's like a month since we've done a traditional Cuppa catch-up in cards. But it's not this Brian. I'm definitely older. I forgot where I've lost my trail of thought. Yeah, so this is the first live, and I can't go live without mentioning the events of this week in Nottingham. And I wanted to light a candle. As I very often do when things like this happen, or we lose somebody in the community. I think last time I lit a candle was for Rachel. and then obviously for Poppy and things like that. But I don't think it matters where you are in the world. You would have heard what happened in Nottingham in the early hours of Tuesday morning, and the whole city has just been totally rocked, and to its core because of the events that took place. I was in the thick of it by trying to get out of this building from about 6:45 in the morning, and just seeing all the road closures and police cars and fire engines, everything else. But it wasn't until later in the afternoon that we actually found out what had happened, and then much later in the day when we found out who the victims were. So I just want to kind of just mention it really, and light a candle for Barnaby, Grace and Ian, who were the three people who tragically had their lives ended this week. But also, light a candle for healing for those who were also, drove at after, who are, one's been discharged now, two are still in hospital. The person who was critical is now stable, so that's something. And all week, I went to the vigil on Tuesday night in the church in the middle of the city, which was lovely. And then on Thursday, the whole city came together. There was thousands of us down in the square, and hearing the parents talk in particular. 2 19-year-old students with their whole lives ahead of them. One, such promise to be a doctor. She wanted to be a doctor. The other one was studying history and sports. And then Ian's son's talking, 4 months away from retirement and looking forward to his retirement. It's just so tragic and senseless. And I think that's where I'm at the minute. It's just that trying to get your head around why somebody would do that, why somebody would be motivated to do that. But anyway, one thing I'm proud of is how the city that I live in, and I always knew it was a special place. I love living here in this city. But one thing that I'm really proud of is the fact that the city came together in a time of crisis, and was just there to show love to the families. Because Grace and Barnaby aren't originally from Nottingham. They're here because they're studying here, but their families came to the city and experienced the love and the outpouring of love towards them. But also, when something like that happens and you're just in this state of shock and bewilderment, as well as grief, to just be with other people and share, that sort of togetherness, it was priceless. But I just want to light a candle, and I want to keep it burning through this live broadcast. And of course you can join me as well if you want to light a candle and just have that burning. But this is for Grace and Barnaby and Ian, and also for the healing of those who are also injured, and for the healing of those that have been affected by this awful event. Should be enough. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate everybody's love and support. It's good to have a sup of tea. Yes, Sandra, it is good news, and that's what you can focus on, really. One, that this person has been caught and taken off the streets, and is being dealt with, but also that people are recovering and getting better. Yeah. Such a horrific incident. The sadness, horror, and sheer disbelief must be shocking. Yeah, you can never prepare yourself for it. You never think it's going to happen in your neighborhood. You hear of these things, and it's always, I don't know, in the capital or in other countries, and then when it's right on your doorstep, there's just that total shock and disbelief. But hello, Kathy. Nice to see you. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah. So anyway, how has everybody else's week been? And have we all got now, normally I have coffee, but I'm trying to cut back, even though I drink decaffeinated coffee in the main. Sometimes I will be really wild and have a regular coffee if I go to a coffee shop. But in the main, at home in particular, I have decaffeinated coffee. But I'm still drinking quite a lot of coffee. So I've scaled back how much coffee I'm drinking from coffee shops, even though I've been to one this morning. And I'm trying in the evenings to drink tea. That whole sort of AM coffee, PM tea. So I've got a cup of tea with oat milk, and I thought I'll just sup some tea. You have a pina colada for a cuppa. Wow, how the other half live. Pina colada. Last time I had one of them, it was Christmas, actually. I went out with some friends from work and went to a cocktail bar in a little town called Chesterfield, which isn't that far from here. It's about, well, on the train, it's about 45 minutes. And I had a pina colada, and that's like the first time I've had one since I think I was a teenager. So enjoy your pina colada, Ramon. I'm drinking water. So dehydrated these days with the heat. Yeah, I've got a big bottle of mango water. I love mango water in the fridge. And I was going to have that. And I thought, no, because I'll have a cuppa with my friends. Decaffeinated coffee, proof positive that Simon is Satan. Colour. It's not just pens, people. Spearmint tea. That sounds nice, Robin. Frank's just bought the Tarot of Oneness. Oh, I'm going to have to look at what the Tarot of Oneness is. That sounds familiar. I'm sure I've seen it. Let's have a look. The Tarot of Oneness. Ooh, so on Etsy UK. That's dangerous. Imagine, it says at Etsy UK sometimes, then it will say £28 shipping, £53 and a penny. Oh, it's from Canada. So I can see the packaging, but I can't see any pictures of the cards. So, but the box looks nice. Let me go to Tarot of Oneness and put images in. That might be better, mightn't it? Now I'm in Etsy now, and I'm trapped in there, and I can't get out. Tarot of Oneness images. Oh, it's very colourful. It's very colourful. Oh, that's a Synchronicity Oracle deck. That's not it. So I'll probably have to do some searching, because as I'm putting it in, it's now bringing up Synchronicity. Oh, here's Tarot of Oneness. I wonder if it's by the same artist then, because it looks just like the Synchronicity Oracle artwork. So it's nice. It's nice and colourful. I like that. I love the Fool. Look at that Fool card. Let me expand it so you can see it. Just the oh, it's glowing too much. Let me make it darker if I can. Yeah, there we go. It's just like standing on the edge of that precipice, and then it's kind of still trying to get brighter. Look, that's swirling down. Let's make it a lot darker, so that should make it better. I love that perspective for the full card. Oh, Tarot of Oneness, I like it. Oh, this is how I go on. What you guys doing to me? Let's see what other comments we've got. Oh, Jackie's joined Slimming World. I've been back at Slimming World a while now, doing okay. Some weeks it's better than others, but I find it harder. In the winter, I'm fine on Slimming World because I can have things like things that you just throw into like a crock pot, or I can do a bolognese, spaghetti bolognese, or chili, make big batches, or chicken curry. But when it's like this, you don't just want to eat salad all the while. So I find it harder during the hot weather to stick to Slimming World. But Jonathan stopped drinking coffee and started drinking mushroom coffee instead, with 8 different mushrooms, raw cacao, and cinnamon. If I need a pickup, I add some matcha or Earl Grey to the mix. That sounds quite nice, I think, but it also sounds quite complicated. I have to be quick with my coffee. Elderflower cordial. Oh, Celia, I love elderflower. By the bucket load due to the heat. I've interviewed the Tarot of Oneness deck creator. She's very nice, says Jonathan. I'm going to have to check it out. The artwork looks amazing. Simon, I will do a walkthrough of mine. Have you got it too? I've put down the one very strong cup of coffee every morning and no more. They can pry a mug out of my cold dead hands. Quite a few walkthroughs, says Beth. Oh, there's quite a few walkthroughs out there that I can find. Patsy got the Fyodor Pavlov tarot this week. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I've got Fyodor Pavlov. It is a really nice deck. I've got a really nice bag for it as well. It's somewhere. My desk, if I was to turn the camera around this way and point down, I've got a ton of stuff here that I'm going to share. Because what I want to do today is talk about the kind of Limelight decks. Those decks that you kind of keep grabbing for because they want your attention all the while. They want to be in the limelight. I've got quite a few of them. Some are still new and, really holding my attention. But every so often, there's the old faithfuls that I just keep grabbing for, which I refer to as my Limelight decks. So I thought I'd share them with you because lots of people do. These are the decks I'm working with this month. And I used to do that quite a bit. I'd do, I've been working with this month, and these are the ones my intention. These are the ones I'm going to work with through June or July. And a lot of the times they just don't happen. Sometimes it works out like that, but most of the times Limelight decks shout to me and they're like, no, work with me. So I thought what I'd do today is share with you some of the decks that I've been working with. And one's not a deck either. Which do you have first, your laptop or your iPad? Did you have first your laptop or your iPad? Do you use your iPad for work? Yes, I do use it for work. I've got a stylus with it, so I use notes, pages for meetings. I've also got a bullet journal, but that's more like a to-do list. So I'm an avid bullet journaler. I have been for about 5-6 years. I couldn't exist without a bullet journal. I've got some of my team as well using bullet journaling but that's more for like ticking off and to do and scheduling and stuff like that. But I use my iPad because I've got my contacts. It mirrors what's on my phone anyway, but I use this more for like writing and storing notes. But what came first? Well, I've had a MacBook for years before I had a channel, so probably my MacBook. But then the first thing I got was a phone. Most of my videos are done on a phone, but I do lives through my MacBook. I actually cancelled my Alaman pledge yesterday. Is Alaman coming back, or is it another version of it? I must admit, I kind of really wanted the Alaman, and I think I got it in a trade in the end. Did I? And I love it. I do love it. And it's in my double pouch, which is here. It's in this one right here behind me. But I don't use it as much as I thought I would. So that's a note to self, you know, when you think I really, because there's always a deck that is there, and particularly if it's from the States or somewhere, and I just think, oh, the investment into getting that, you know, the amount of money and the shipping and everything else. But then sometimes it's like, I really, really want it. And now I think, well, this is how I was about the Alaman. And I'm glad I've got it, but I don't use it as much as I thought I would. I have it unopened at the moment, but we'll do a walkthrough. It's interesting because that was in your basket, wasn't it? Because when I just saw the box and the logo or the kind of geometrical shape on it, I thought that looked like one of the unopened boxes in Sandra's basket. Let's have a look. People are talking about mushroom coffee. Only fair after all the Simon made me. I backed the Kickstarter campaign for Tower of Oneness, and it's quickly become one of my favorite decks. That's good. See, I've got nothing on Kickstarter at the moment. I've got an Indiegogo, but that takes the money straight away. That's for Ross Salerno's New Voice tarot. And then I've got Kelly Fitzgerald's deck, Nellie's deck, also pre-ordered. And I've got Patrick Valenza's Zama Twins Oracle also pre-ordered. And that's it. Okay, I want to get behind on the comments. If there is anything you want me to see, just remember capitals and then
okay, I found this on the web for Is There Is It? Check it out.
Why? If it's not Alexa, then it's Siri kicking off. Can't get through a live these days without one of me devices interrupting. I can't wait to see a walkthrough of the Zama Twins, Simon. Get right on that, please. It's got to be shipped from America first. I think Patrick said they're arriving this week. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks it will be here. So yeah. So do you have that kind of experience of the Limelight type of decks that I was talking about, where there's just a deck that doesn't matter if it's a really old one or one that you've had for a few months or brand new, but it's just, you think you're going to work with certain decks, but other decks jump in. And if so, let me know what some of yours are as I share mine. And then I just wanted to, because it's the wheel turns this week, as Celia mentioned, we're going into Litha. I have these little altar cards. These are the backs. And I have a little stand on my sacred space and I swap them. So we go from Beltane to Litha through the Wheel of the Year. And it says, summer solstice is here. May you be abundantly blessed. As the dark grows near, may your soul set alight. with hope and warmth to guide you through the upcoming night. Isn't that lovely? Really like these. They're really nice cards. The current Kickstarter campaign is the Alleyway Oracles and Tarot and has 3 decks. It's the Alleyway Tarot. So Alleyway Tarot is different to Alleyman Tarot. And the last one was the Alleyman Tarot. Yeah, okay. Do you have Alexa and Siri both? Do they ever get in arguments with each other? No, you can't, because it picks up whichever you say. So even if I said something like, Alexa, talk to Siri.
Hey Siri, how are you?
See, Siri's not talking. Hey Siri, talk to Alexa.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
See, they don't want to talk to each other. They just live their separate lives here in the Hermit's Cave, not communicating, except via me. Where do you get your Sabbath cards from? I think I got them off Etsy, an Etsy UK shop. They weren't cheap because obviously there's only 12, and I think there was 30 something pound, but they're quite a nice size. And I thought, well, I'll use them constantly because every turn of the wheel, I'll change the card over. May I thought was going to be the She Tarot turned out to be the Arcane Warrior and the SOTW Beltane Oracle, Season of the Witch. Hello, everyone. Hi, Deanne. Can type better now. Phone was charging and couldn't reach it. But then the cat decided she would rearrange my life. They don't get on with each other. They don't. Hello, Simon. I always wondered, what do you use to elevate the levels of decks in the shelves behind you? My shelves are utter chaos. A little life hack for you. I can't get one down because they'll all come crashing down. But spice racks, you know, the 3-tier spice racks that you can get for like kitchens. You have to get the right size shape for you, because I've got cubicles. I did buy one and it was too wide, so that is in the kitchen with spices on it, lo and behold. And then I got the smaller one and it just kind of fits in, but not all I've got them on. So like, as you can see, no, you have to go the opposite direction. I can't do it. Oh dear. This one I got there at the end. That's just kind of like all crammed in. So, and that one, the one above is as well. Oh, it's so hard doing it in reverse and behind. Brilliant. Spice racks. Yeah, just the 3-tier spice racks. They go great for displaying decks. You get about nine decks on them. The better on the ones above. Do you see the top shelf there? That's a spice rack. And they're spice racks as well. So that's not right. Dropped too much off. Right. So yes, that's what I use for them. They're acting like they don't get along, but in reality, they're comprising a takeover of Simon's apartment. They wait till I go out to work. They wait till I leave in the morning. They're like, right. Yeah. Let's plan our attack. Oh, she's a spice rack girl. Okay, anyway. The first one, being as it's June, it's Pride Month, I got this from Oxfam. If you're in the UK, I mean, Oxfam could be international actually, but it's a charity shop over here, what you in the States call Goodwill. And they don't just sell second-hand stuff. They also sell new things, you know, that they buy in, and they're usually fair trade items. And this is handmade. And they've got a few little things that are pride related because it's June. And it's just the right fit for the queer tarot, which I have been using a lot this month. And if you're in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, you'll have seen that I've shared some images from this deck as well. I love this. There are a few people have said about the cardstock can be quite difficult if you're a riffle shuffler. I'm not a riffle shuffler, but I love the backs. I think the backs are gorgeous. And it's a nice, shiny, matte, borderless images, lovely, bright colours. The Queer Tarot is fab, says Sandra. It really is. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. So I have been using this one quite a bit. I know we're only on something like we're halfway through the month, aren't we? But I thought I'm going to use that during June, and I've used it a lot more. I love the Five of Pentacles in this deck. Look at that. How gorgeous. Pat says she needs to grab hers. Yeah, I mean, how many people have this deck? Look at the purple and the pink together there. How stunning. Love the Ace of Wands with the colours in the background. Really nice deck. And nice for this time of year as well, you know, for warmer months. That said, I've got two very dark decks, and it made me smile because lots of people say, you know, and I've done it myself, oh, this will be a great deck to work with during winter, or this will be a great deck to work with during summer. And that never pans out for me because, again, Limelight decks, they just shout, work with me. And I don't think it matters too much what time of the year. I mean, I always get out my glittery winter weight at Christmas time. I just do. But it doesn't mean that I work with it exclusively, because I like having a mix of decks to grab for. Love this card, but look, I had a t-shirt with a happy face, but that's got a sad face, look. What's the tower-ish chakra thing behind you? It's very rainbowy and very pretty. It's an incense burner, Robin. Oh, but I didn't put the bottom on properly. So you have a little bottom here with a pin, and you put your incense. That's how much is left of mine, look. And then let me seal it shut. That's it. And it's a chakra tower. It's got this beautiful lotus design at the bottom, which is stunning. But then all the way around, and that's the top. You see the smoke coming out. You probably need. Oh, there you go. Need a dark background. So the smoke comes out the top. Oh, the one I'm using at the moment is White Sage and Palo Santo, the Tribal Soul. Yeah, and it's got holes down here so the air can get through, but all the way around it's got the chakra colours. And I love it. I saw it in a shop in Loughborough. When my friend came a couple of weekends ago, and I saw it in the window of a little new age shop that I frequent when I go to Loughborough, and I just had to get it. Even though I've got loads of stuff, I'm like, where am I going to put it? Do you ever do that? You think, I really want that, and then you think, well, where am I going to put it? And I just thought, well, I'll find somewhere for it. Was it from Ice 9? No, it wasn't. It was from a shop in Loughborough. I've not taken you there. Loughborough's it's an old little market town type shop, a bit like Chesterfield. but we could go when you're up, Sandra, if you wanted to, and I'll show it you. It's not on the scale of the one in Chesterfield, but yeah. So Pride Tarot. The book for this is really, it's not Pride Tarot, Queer Tarot, sorry. The book for this is really cool as well. I love how the pages are color coded. There's lots of information in that one. So that's one. I'm just going to have a sup of tea and then catch up on comments before I look at the next one. See if you've answered as well about whether you have those sort of Limelight decks that crave your attention. Okay, so that's where I got up to. Where did you get the Sabbath's card from? Or the Spice Rack thing. So covered that. I rewatched your Power 5 this morning. Well, one of the decks I'm going to mention, I believe, is in my Power 5. So that would be serendipitous if it is. I think it is actually. But that was where it's like one Oracle, one Tarot, another form of divination. Was it one Marseille Tarot, one RWS Tarot, one Oracle deck, one divination tool, and a spiritual item like a crystal or something? Gosh, how many years ago was that, Deanne, when I did my Power 5? My Limelight decks that have been totally noisy, I like that, noisy, that's a good way, Sheehan, to mention it, are the Spolia and the Thoth and the Ritual Tarot. I've seen the Ritual Tarot pop up a lot recently. I don't know if I'm that keen on it because I think I've got my fill of collage type decks. Queer Tarot is fab, says Sandra. You hate the cardstock, Brian. Oh, I really like the cardstock. And the deck bag is pretty, yeah. Love the colours. Love the bright colours. Jonathan has it, but doesn't play with it much. It's a good reader, good for all ages, no nudity, and still super queer. Yeah, but do you know what? It's such a good all-rounder deck. It's got fantastic queer representation, but anybody could use it, you know. Just, you know, anybody, whether they're a member of the LGBTQ plus community or not, you know, allies would love it. I don't have a seasonal per se, but the Oracle for seasons I do use: Beltane, spring, summer, Samhain, and autumn, winter. And it catches all the ash. It does, although I've got a little pile of ash now because the bottom fell off. I hadn't secured it properly. Beautiful deck. I just brought the mini New World Tarot deck. Oh, that's cool. Give one as a gift to a friend. I might do a VR to this Simon Limelight decks. Yeah, feel free. RWS, Marseille, Oracle, playing card, and a divination item. Yeah. And says no Limelight decks for me. My decks are all very well behaved and wouldn't dare step out of line and push themselves forward. You're lucky. You're very lucky. Because mine do. And there's one at the moment that just, I'm so in love with it and I'm using it every day. So the others are like evenings and things because I'm this one, which I'll come on to. Another one, and this is Giselle's fault, Mad Witch, because we was talking about this deck and it's come up a few times. I think it was one that she'd mentioned she'd struggled with, and then when we mentioned it again, she said, I've been working with it, and I'm getting to to connect with it and moving forward with it. And I'm like, oh, it's just such a beautiful deck, and it's a classic. And because she mentioned it, I've been grabbing for it a lot recently. And of course, the deck I'm talking about is Llewellyn. Gorgeous deck. Now I have got two versions, because I've got a trimmed version as well. Both edged. This is kind of like a darker chocolatey brown. Matches the back really nice. This one is a little bit of a lighter brown, as you can see there. So it doesn't quite match the backs, but I still really, really like it. And this is just such a beautiful deck. I love the watercolor kind of artwork. It's just really delicate, really beautiful. You feel like you're holding beautiful pieces of art. I love how the suits are really representative of, like, this is one which is fire, and let me see if I can show you. All the fire ones have these kind of orangey, fiery tones to them. Oh yeah, here's another one, like the same background, and I just think it's gorgeous. Totally gorgeous. And it's one of those decks that I've forgotten about over the years. You know, you get them because people talk about them and you think they're so beautiful. And then you just kind of forget about it. So this deck I've got in front of me here. Let me see if I can grab it. I'll have to move that crystal out the way. This is the problem when I've got all this stuff out everywhere and I'm going to send things flying. I've got this little stand that has like 2 decks in. Got a little thing on the back so I can lay it flatter or higher up. Shimmering Veil, and my Llewellyn has been going here, so it kind of sits on the corner of my desk. Put that crystal back in its place now. And so I find that as I'm sitting here, I'll think, right, what deck shall I work with? And I'll look around and it's there. And I think, okay, Llewellyn, come on. But it's just really beautiful. And I'd imagine it's a deck that many people have. Let me show you a few from the trimmed versions, just to show you the difference. So this is what it looks like trimmed. It's quite a small, it makes it quite a small deck, but not that small. If I show you it against, let's grab a blank card. So it's not that tiny when you take the borders off, because the full size card is almost as tall, but it's wider. So, and then when you've I just took off that's upside down. I just took off the 3 sides, top and 2 sides, to leave the title at the bottom. That's how I did it. People have modified it other ways. Some people have taken off all the titles and just have it as like a picture deck. I chose not to do that. But let me find one to compare. Well, we'll look at our 3 of Cups, and then I'll come back and look at some comments in a minute. So let me find the 3 of Cups in this deck. Should have gone with that one, actually, because I've just seen that. But anyway, 3 of Cups it is. This has come up first. So that's what it looks like when you've trimmed it. For the longest time, I preferred this trimmed version, but actually I don't mind it in its former glory. I wish they were matte, but this is when Llewellyn cardstock was actually quite nice, and it comes now in a hard magnetic box as well. So I'm glad they didn't compromise on the cardstock, but I wish they'd released this matte. I mean, it's never going to be picked up by anybody else because it's the Llewellyn Tarot, so it's Llewellyn's own. So that would be very strange if it's not going to go to Schiffer Red Feather, but so yeah, I love this deck. It gives me some beautiful, beautiful readings. The pictures are just, like I say, really gorgeous. Like little stories as well within the scenes. The moon card in this deck is epic. I also love the Nine of Swords. Not many people say they love the Nine of Swords, do they? But I think that's such a gorgeous depiction. Let's see if I can find the moon card that I was talking about, and then I'll look at some comments. Why do I do this? Here we go. Look at this. Just beautiful. Beautiful card. Gorgeous. So yeah, Llewellyn is another Limelight deck that constantly calls for my attention. I can see my name tagged a few times. So now that I'm thinking about it, Tarot Oneness could be considered a Limelight deck for me, says Jonathan. Robin says, I guess you could say I have Limelight decks. I get different points of views by asking the same question from all of 4 decks every day. So you use 4 decks every day. So do you do 4 readings a day, or do you combine decks for your readings every day? I love my Llewellyn deck. I've trimmed it down to just the image, and it's perfect for traveling. I mean, the good thing about Llewellyn is the images, you kind of know what they are. You know, they follow the RWS system. Minnie Radiant Wise and Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle are my all-time Limelights. The rest I rotate. It is beautiful. One day I'll definitely add to my collection. Yeah, well, again, what Giselle was saying, she heard it had gone out of print. And I looked and I said to her, I said, no, I just checked, it's on Amazon. I mean, it does say 1 left, but I don't think that meant that it's out of print, because sometimes they just get more. I said, it's still available. The older deck shouting at me at the minute is the Druid Craft. I love the Druid Craft as well. The Druid Craft I have in this one here, the one next to it with the 9 decks. Again, this is a trimmed version. I've got 3 versions of Druid Craft. It's ridiculous. I've got one untouched, one that is this version with the titles at the bottom. That keeps falling out. And then one that is totally trimmed to just the images. Hello, Thace. Nice to see you. I think it's just jumped. I've lost where I was. Oh, can you show a few of the trimmed deck? Oh, so, yeah, I'm behind. So I did that in time. So interesting, Robin. When I made my list of my Power 5 just for fun, all minis. Have you just done it then? Did you watch it because you've just done it, or was it a while ago, Deanne? I have this Llewellyn deck, but I wish the images were bigger. They are so well painted. I love it. Yeah, it'd be lovely if there was like an anniversary edition. If anybody from Llewellyn is watching, bring out an updated anniversary edition of your Llewellyn Tarot, but with bigger images, probably borderless. I mean, you're going to have to put titles in somewhere, but you can put scrolls. A matte cardstock, good quality Llewellyn, matte cardstock. The Everyday Witch is another Limelight for me. It's perfect for taking everywhere. The only problem with and again, I was talking to Giselle about this. The only problem for me with the Everyday Witch is I really want to like it, but I can't handle the cardstock. Just can't handle it. It's just too thin. And it's such a shame. Hello, Night Oracle. I'm fine, thank you. Hope you're okay too. I wonder if the big companies like Llewellyn ever get into boardroom arguments with creators about borders. Depends how much freedom they give them. Sign over, I guess. Oldies but goodies. We keep getting new decks in our collections. And that's why we brought back, Chris and I brought back Throwback Thursday, we're doing Tarot of She next. But, and I do it too, but YouTube is kind of full of unboxings and walkthroughs and new decks. And sometimes it's really nice just to get out those old loved decks. Do you still use a paper cutter or scissors to trim? I really want to trim my Druidcraft. I use a guillotine. I suppose I should say guillotine, but I've always said guillotine. And a corner rounder. Here he is. Hello, Chris. How are you? Moon is so beautiful in this deck. It really is a gorgeous card. Okay, Shien, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And retracted a message. I do 4 3-card readings every day when I'm out in the park bench. 3 cards at a time is all I can hold in my hands. Okay. Why was I counting cards while Simon riffled through? I haven't recorded anything. I just made notes for fun. Oh, you should have hit the record button. I'd love to see your Power 5. Yes, Simon, I am. Thank you for asking. That's okay. I got Everyday Witch for a friend a few months after I'd gotten it for myself, and it was thicker, better cardstock. Oh, I'd love it. See, I bought it when it first came out, but the cardstock is really thin. So I asked Sandra as well, Sandra and Giselle, but Giselle got hers at the same time, because sometimes you can get they'll do other print runs, and I wondered if they'd started to make it on thicker cardstock. I don't think they have. It was a bit like Hidden Realms, Tower of the Hidden Realms. I was able to get a thick cardstock version of that, which is treasured now. I gifted the thin cardstock one, but I don't know why they're so thin. Some people love them if they're riffle shufflers. They really like thin cardstock. And it shouldn't really be an issue. I mean, if I only had one deck and I bought Everyday Witch, I'd know no different. I think it's because we do these walkthroughs, we go on about the cardstock and borders and matte and gilding and all that. We get a little bit picky. Well, I do. But then when you get good quality decks, you kind of then think, well, this is how they could all be. the mini Everyday Witch is one I take everywhere. That thin cardstock is perfect for a mini deck. So I've just gifted my Everyday Witch tarot and my Llewellyn tarot to my two nieces. Their parents gave permission for them to start learning to read the tarot. They're 12 and 15. That's lovely. And are you thinking of replacing them for yourself, Elaine, or are you just happy to let them go? I couldn't be without my Llewellyn. And just, it's one of those that, you know, it's a classic, but it's not just a classic because it's been around forever. It's a classic because it's so beautiful as well, and everybody seems to love it. Hello, Tammy Pie. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Okay, so the next tarot deck, which is probably a little bit strange, but this one I bought back end of last year. I think it was Chris actually who first got this, and when I saw it, I thought, oh wow, something about that really speaks to me. And it is. And even though we're in, and I thought it'd be one that I'd use in the dark half of the year, even though we're in warm weathers, it's one that will still keep calling to me. And it's the Macabre Tarot. Really love this. Again, it's a rock pool, but cardstock that is dreamy. You know, it wasn't that expensive really. It's got beautiful gilding, nice backs, matte cardstock, but the images in this deck I adore. The only thing is the changing of the suits and some titles, and that's just like a pet peeve of mine. I've got to get over it. But I kind of use this intuitively. Now, it does have a nice little book. It doesn't say a lot, but it is one that, a bit like, you know, you do with Oracle decks, you'll pull a card and you think, okay, that's interesting. So, for instance, 4 crystals, I like to know what their thoughts are behind this image because it's different to, you know, any other deck I've got. So it's one that I very often pop in and out of the book for as well. But there's just something about this deck I really love. This one, oh, I love this. Put that for the 3 of Cups. The other decks that this creator has released, I forgot her name actually. Samantha Rook. Don't do it for me. There's the Cosmic C Word, and there was another one as well. And yeah, they're very alien-y. Whereas this isn't. But there's just something about this artwork that I really love. I mean, look at the sun and the moon together. I'll just show a few more. So the cards are either on a black background. Look at that. Look at those fingers just leaning forward, those eyes coming through the dark in the chariot. What a fab chariot card. Or it's a white background. But yeah, gorgeous deck. Gorgeous as in everything about it, the feel of it. Not necessarily gorgeous as in Llewellyn, beautiful artwork. It's its own style. It doesn't have to, you know, you can't really compare this with like classical paintings, but it's fantastic as it is. Very creepy. So, Macabre Tarot, but also very similar in kind of energy. I love this bag, by the way. This bag is gorgeous. It's the Norwegian Woods Oracle. So there's 2 oracles that I've been working with. I don't tend to work a lot with oracles. It's mainly tarot. But the Norwegian Woods, now you can get this. It's by Conrad Stein. You can get this in tarot size as well. This is kind of like a bigger oracle size deck. But again, it's that sort of black and white, and they pair well together. There are splashes of colour, like this card, for instance, but there's no numbers or keywords on this deck at all. And I've had this now for about 3 months, and I love it. Really love it. I can't talk any more highly about it. I get the same sort of vibes and feelings when working with this deck like I do when I've worked with soul cards, and I've worked with them now for over 20 years. And as I've said before, I used to read with them exclusively. But there's so much, you just sit with these, or I do. You know, I'll pull a card, I'll look at the image, and I'll just sit with it. And sometimes I'll be sitting looking at it for ages and no words come, but then you just start to pay attention to how it's making you feel, and then just let the thought process roll. Look at that. Just incredible. And sometimes you see things in the images you've never seen before. I'll just show a couple more. And there's a lot of cards. I think there's about 80 cards in the deck. Oh, I love that. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of cards. A lot of cards here. There's a colour one. Anyway, I could show you the whole thing. So those 2 in particular, like I say, I would have thought that, and I will hear myself say it as I'm doing walkthroughs, oh yeah, I think this will be a good deck to work with in the darker part of the years, the nights draw in and the candles are lit. And that's the thing with Limelight decks. It doesn't matter what your intentions are for it. If they're around you and you sit there and you think, what deck shall I work with? These are the ones that kind of jump forward. Hence wanting to hog the limelight. I just saw my name tagged. The Hermit's Cave. Is this a tag you're doing, Simon? Or just general geek out session? Just general geek out session. But Sandra said, did you notice that? I slipped into the family Scouse accent. Just a general geek out session. I can't do it now. See, if I try and do it, I can't. But every so often I catch myself sounding like my dad, and my dad's side of the family from Liverpool. And I just did it then. Yeah, just a general geek out session. But Sandra said she's going to do a VR to it. And that's the thing, you know, there's tags, but then there's VRs, and people will just do a VR to a subject or something they've seen. So if you wanted to do a VR, then absolutely. But I don't want to hear when I was explaining, I was just talking about Limelight decks. And I'll put Limelight decks after where I put the date. I always put the date because I don't always decide when I set the lives up what I'm going to be talking about. So rather than limit myself or kind of, you know, commit myself, I just put the date, and then very often whatever the subject comes up or whatever I decide to do just before going live, I then go back and I change the title. So it'll say CC&C includes Limelight decks. But the premise I was talking about is those decks that just vie for your attention all the while. And even though you might make a commitment that during the month of July, I'm going to work with this, this, and this. The Limelight decks have other ideas, and you're like, I was going to work with this, but I just couldn't put this deck down. So the last tarot deck that I want to mention, and this is my all-time favorite deck. I mean, obviously RWS, but the version of it. And I had to put Kelly's wrap pouch. If you haven't seen the video I did yesterday, this new kind of evolution of Kelly Bear pouch with this, I love how she's putting the charm on the end of the ribbon. This is now a wrap. It's going to be hard to show it like this. It's got the moon gazing here. In fact, let me take the cards out and show it you like that. So it's also a spread cloth. You get 4 cards on there. I tend to use them on the plain side. If you do a 1-card pull, you could just put that in the middle. It'd be great for Instagramming, wouldn't it? But it's a fantastic new design from Kelly Bear, and I showed it yesterday. But this deck is everything. I love RWS, and I've got loads. Again, if I show you that cubby here is jam-packed full of RWS decks. Most of them, oh, sorry, elephant. Most of the ones next to it also, and then I've had to move some into the other room. So I must have 50 plus RWS decks, different iterations of it. This one is the best that I've seen as a kind of clone deck. It's by Destiny. The cardstock is the nicest cardstock ever. I mean, that kind of nice matte cardstock. The backs are stunning, just beautiful. The gilding is the speckled gold that shines in different colors, but the sharpness of the images and the colors that are used are just, it beats Dirty Pam hands down in terms of the atmospheric. Instead of just getting a 1 block color, you do get the kind of tones in the skies. You can see here, look, the shading and grays, and it's just gorgeous. This is the Retina Weight Smith. Let me show you as well. There's the 5 of Pentacles. There's shadows added. So like here with the Page of Wands, do you see the shadow on the ground behind him of the wand and himself? And ever since I've got this, I can't put it down. I just cannot put it down. I read every morning with this deck. The other decks that I'm using are, like I say, in the evenings. But sometimes I'm even pulling these again. Just the whole tactile experience of reading with these cards. Yeah, look at this. Look how the shadow of the 10 of Swords. It's just amazing. The detail. Singh Poonfat is the artist. It's in Thailand. Again, the shadows, the swords. So gorgeous. There is going to be a set. I think it's sold out now, but I think there is going to be a second edition. So, yeah. This one is definitely a Limelight deck, and it's only happened a few times before where, you get a new deck and you work with it for like a month, and then you get another new deck and you put that to one side and you work with that new deck. This is the one where it's like, no, you're not letting me go yet. This is everything you wanted in a deck. So here it is. Get used to it. Use me. I'll wrap that back up. Oh, imagine I can pull a card at the end from it. I'll just fold it like that for now. Let's look at some comments. So, 8:10 already. Crikey, I've got a couple more things to show, but don't want to miss any comments. Where did I get up to? Gosh, that you've had a lot. I'm going to look for tags or capitals, I think, because there's a lot of comments here. Effing neighbours stop by during CC&C. The nerve. You need to put a sign on your door, Calla, saying "Do not disturb" between these times on a Saturday. Joking. I do have Tarot Vampires, Night Oracle, yes. You're talking about the Ian Daniels one. The Vampire Tarot is the Robert M. Place one. I've got both, but I think you're on about the Ian Daniels one. Edged mine in red to match the rose on the back. Simon, I also bought the Macabre after watching Chris and the Phantomwise Tarot too. I love both decks. Not Alien-y, whilst holding up a sun and moon with faces. What? That's not Alien-y. Having faces in suns and moons. I like alien decks, Cassandra. I went to get Desert Illuminations. It's supposed to be. I want to get Desert Illuminations. It's supposed to come out mass market soon. Yeah, I'm not really into the whole alien or starseed thing. I keep an open mind, like I do in most things. I'm sorry, what deck is that, Simon? So if it's the last one, it's the Retina Waitsmith. I've got a box here. Retina Waitsmith Tarot. It's in a lovely hard box. Where does it just come from? There, isn't it? Norwegian Woods. Oh, I'm that far back, am I? Sorry. Yeah, Norwegian Woods. It's on NPC by Conrad Steen. Hermit's Cave. Is this? Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the laptop. I don't know why Deanne's been. It says show or hide, but I've just tried to show it. It said another moderator's done it, so I don't know why it's still showing that. Rain Coast Oracle popped itself into the limelight this morning because I had a very vivid dream last night about an enormous, very colourful art museum. Oh wow! Is that Kelly's new wrap? It is. It's gorgeous. Do watch the video from yesterday because you'll see the dimensions in terms of how the cards lay out and up close details. The stitching on that, she is just perfected. It is so neat to say it's hand stitched. Incredible talent. I have so many videos in my watch later, and yours is one of them, Simon. Catching up on lots this rainy weekend. I've got so many in my watch later as well. It's because I'm into Grey's Anatomy. I know I've succumbed. My sister told me a few weeks ago, and when I was off work, I watched some, and I've just today started season 4. And I know there's like 19 seasons, 400 and something episodes, and I'm like, this is going to take me probably the rest of my life to catch up. But it's so good. Some stories are a little bit far-fetched, but you just have to go with it, realize it's entertainment. But you get invested in the characters, or I do, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I've answered that about name of the deck. Is it on NPC? Where did you get it? So Norwegian Woods is on NPC, and Retina Waitsmith is from Destiny. Simon, do you know NPC won't accept debit cards? They've always accepted my debit card. That's all I have. I don't have a credit card, and I pay that way. Do I, or do I pay through PayPal? Maybe I pay through PayPal actually. But PayPal is really easy to set up, and it's links to your debit card. Yeah, Retina was the one I was looking for. Good. That new rep from Calibert is lovely. Hello from the past. 9 a.m. where you are. Gosh, 9 a.m. I was gardening. I've done gardening today. Don't have a garden, but I've been gardening to friends. It's lovely. Got some compost and some tubs, and I potted some plant pots and put rose bushes in, and oh, loved it being outdoors. And yeah. Okay. So I've got an oracle, a deck, a playing card deck, and a divination system to show you. Oh, Deanne, it's like top 5. Ramon sent me the Sun Rider Oracle. Now, I know I'm going to make people envious because there's only 2 of these in the world. But this is kind of based on the Moonlight Oracle. Now, the Moonlight Oracle, I love. It's not as many cards because Ramon had quite a bit. But everything had the in front of it. So the harmony, the transformation, the sadness, the loyalty. You get the idea. And I was like, after a while, that just kind of irks a little bit. But I love it because it's the RWS Pixies artwork. So taking out symbols from the RWS Tarot and making an oracle out of it, I thought was genius. So Ramon made the Sun Rider Oracle. And I love it. It's got the roses and lilies back, but in red and white. And it's borderless, but it's just got the keyword. So enlightenment, oppression. So again, you know, from the devil card, you recognize where they're all from. This is from my significator card, unforeseen. I love that, unforeseen, from the Page of Cups. So yeah, it's got keywords and using Pixies art as symbols, anxiety. So I cannot put this deck down. It's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And if there was only one Oracle deck I could have, it would be this now. You know, if they said, well, just one Oracle deck, it'd have to be this, because it's beautiful to read, you know, if you just want quick answers. But also, like the way I use the Moonlight is, if you do a reading and you want that clarification, particularly if you're reading with RWS cards and you pull a card like this, it really homes in on the message of the card. And I love it for that. And for those of you who are here who have bought readings from me in the past, you'll probably recall that when I do card readings, tarot readings, I will always pull a clarifier at the end. And it was always from the Moonlight Oracle, because I read with RWS and would get some overall sort of clarity. So it's gorgeous. I love this. And Ramon, thank you so much for sending me this deck. So that's the Oracle deck. That is my Limelight deck at the moment. There, it has to be next to me so I can grab it quickly. This little deck, it's an Oracle deck, but it's a playing card Oracle. And it's the Cartomancer poker deck. This deck I love. So it's fully illustrated, even on the pip cards. And it is Diddy. It's like a little bridge-sized deck. I love that for the anima. But this is great, you know, and I know I got this playing card deck. I haven't put it away yet. The Momentum playing card from Artisan Tarot. And I thought I'll use that. I'll do a couple of readings with it. But as we're talking about Limelight decks, out of all of my Cartomancy decks, out of the playing card decks, this is the one that just shouts. For the longest time, it was the Deviant Moon one. Where has it gone? Royal Mischief. We've got the original, and then there was the mass-produced version. This was the one that I was always grabbing for, and I still love them. But the Cartomancer playing card there, I just love the artwork. It's just so vintage. I love that it's got the keywords. I love the images. I love how the pips are kind of like fingerprints. Look, notice the fingerprint pattern in each of the. Find a red one to show you. Here's the hearts. Look, they've got a fingerprint pattern on each of them, which makes it's that kind of like uniqueness, that human connection. So yeah, Cartomancer poker deck, love it. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is I've got a little thing here, little pouch. I've been learning about Geomancy, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Again, this is a Ramon thing, because he did on his channel a thing about Geomancy, and he'd got these little Geomancy sticks. In fact, I've got bigger ones here because he sent me 3 sets. Beautiful turquoise, then a red and gold. But I found that using these little ones are easier to cast with. And these ones got like a metallic blue, and they're really nice just to kind of rub together and then lay down. You can, I've also got, I was a little bit disappointed because you can do it with dice and you need them for each of the elements. So I got the colored ones in red, yellow, green, and blue. But when they, and I chose them off Amazon, and when they came, the yellow was more orange with flecks of yellow in it, you see? But it's more orange. But I know that I've got red, yellow, green, blue. Well, you'd go blue, green, actually, because Earth is at the bottom. And I also picked up, because I wanted the cards, because the cards give you the keywords as well. So you get your Geomancy, the four. So here, we find that one. Oh, that's the other way around. Dragon's tail. Where is it? Talk amongst yourselves. I'm very hot. 1, 2, 3. What is happening to me? Oh gosh, it's still inside the bag. I'm like, why can't I find this card? So you get your configuration, and then on the back, it gives you the keywords. I find that really, really useful to have the meanings. But because I bought the cards, it also came with some little Geomancy sticks as well. So you can either cast with the dice, or you can cast with your Geomancy sticks. And then Kelly over at the Truth in Story, she's so generous. If you go to her YouTube channel, she gives out free handouts. So I printed some off, and you can do a geomancy spread by just casting, and then you start adding across and adding down till you get to your judge, and then that gives you your outcome. And she does these free of charge. You can just print them off, or you can do a simple one where you just cast and then add down to the judge to get your outcome. If you want to do a more in-depth one, then you can use them. So I'm really enjoying playing around, thinking of questions, and doing geomancy readings as well. Druid sticks. Yes, Druid sticks is another name for the geomancy sticks. So, and then I've got a little notebook where I've been writing down little bits, notes and things about geomancy as I've gone along, as well as I've been watching some tutorial videos. So it's been fun. It's been fun to play about and learn something a little bit different, because geomancy was something that I'd heard about but was never really on my radar. So I think I've shown everything. So that's my Limelight deck. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 tarot decks and 2 oracles, 1 playing card, and then a divination system other than cards. Let's have a look at your. Gosh, we're nearly at past. I'll pull a card in a second, but let me just see if there's any. Gardening's lovely to do, Simon. It is. I can't have PayPal because it will count against my social security disability. Oh, that's a shame. Didn't even know they took that into account. Not sure they do here. So nice to see you back. Glad you're out of harm's way. I'm sorry for what happened in Nottingham. Yeah, I lit a candle just at the start of the broadcast, just to, you know, sometimes, well, in these situations, you just feel so powerless. So all you can do really is, you know, send out love and peace and healing for those affected. Will you shuffle the 2 decks, Moonlight and Sunlight, together into 1 deck? No, probably not, because there are some images that are the same, and Ramon has kind of took the deck to the next level and added a lot more as well, which is great. I love geomancy, says Malamir. It's fun. It's really fun, and it's very easy. You know, you might think at first it's quite complicated, but it's not. You only have to watch a couple of tutorials, and you're well away. I got a tarot ring from Etsy. I saw it where you spin them. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so I think I've caught up. So I'm going to pull a card, and we'll have something to focus on for the week ahead. This hour and a half goes by so quickly. I feel like I've only just started the broadcast. I also have it, Sandra, but I haven't gone down the geomancy rabbit hole yet. Geomancy coins. See, I wouldn't know how to use them. Perhaps, again, I'll just watch a tutorial. But okay, what do we need to focus on for the cat? What do we need to focus on? What message do people need to hear right now? These shuffle gorgeously with gorgeous sound, but very easy to shuffle, very satisfying shuffle. We have the John Travolta card, often referred to as the card of wishes coming true, or to think about your wishes. But message for the week ahead, I think, would be, you know, let's when we wish for things, where does that come from? What is that desire? You know, this card also reminds me of that he just needs to turn around, because we do have enough a lot of the times. Okay, we could often do with having more, a lot of us, especially in times like this, but we have many things in our lives, many things to be grateful for. We have many blessings, but you know, it's okay to have wishes, it's okay to have dreams, but we have to think about that sometimes wishes do come true, so we need to be careful what we wish for, but also, where is that desire coming from? Is it coming from the right place when we're wishing for things? We also have to remember that when we seek whatever it is that we're wanting to manifest or bring into our lives, or whatever those hopes and dreams are, that actually a lot of the times, if it's something material, it's very short-lived. Joy comes from within. So it's important to remember that too. So this card for me has always had a bit of a paradox, because it's, you know, it's often referred to as the wish card, and that wishes can come true, you know, they very often do. But be careful what you wish for, because they can come true. But the flip side also is to count your blessings. You know, we've got enough to get by in life, hopefully. You know, and perhaps sometimes if we keep receiving things, we can become quite what's the word, complacent, or we start to take things for granted, and that's not a position we ever want to be in as well. So count your blessings, realize what you've got. If you do feel like you still need more, and you've got those dreams and those wishes, then you know that's fine to focus there and put your energy there and bring them into fruition, because dreams and wishes do come true. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you do want to, I know a few people have said, but if you do want to do a VR and share what your spotlight decks are, then feel free, and I'll look out for them. Let me know if you do it. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. It's always an absolute pleasure. So have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.